place to be, where art, life, and spirituality connects you and me. Science of mind and spirit, the foundation we teach and live. Love, joy, and belonging are the gifts we have to give. Our consciousness, our being, open at the bottom, open at the top. We're not simply one with God, but we are it itself. It will never stop. SIA, our spiritual center, family and home. It's where we come to practice and remember there is only one life, one mind, one infinite, eternal, self-existent. 'Cause we pause, embodying all that we are. We shine like a glorious star. Our consciousness, our being, open at the bottom, open at the top. We're not simply one with God, but we are it itself. It will never stop. SIA, our spiritual center, family and home. It's where we come to practice and remember there is only one. Spirituality is our way of life. We value laughter, truth, and justice. We express artistry as our living practice. So come and join us at SIA. Know you found a community that will love you every day.
Namaste, greetings and blessings, and welcome to the Center for Spiritually Integrated Arts. This is our Sunday message, and I am Reverend Dr. Raymond Anderson, the founder and spiritual director of this center. And I invite you to watch not only this Sunday message, but any of our archived messages. I invite you to join any classes or events that we have going on. I invite you to reach out and email if you have any questions. Questions about this community, questions about me, questions about what we do, or questions about this science of mind and spirit, liberation theology that we practice and teach. And if by chance you find yourself seeking beloved community with other like-minded beings, even if you already belong, are a member of another community, church, or center, you are more than free to have multiple affiliations wherever you are fed and find community. You are invited. And lastly, feel free to click like, subscribe, and share this or any other message or announcements with others in your circle. And with that, much appreciation, love, and blessings. Enjoy the message.
SIA is the place to be. So buckle up, we're making history. And if you are willing, repeat after me. I am love. I am love. it right. One more time. I am love. I am joy. I am divine. Amen. Yes, you are. Amen. Yes, you are. Now today's message begins.
Namaste and greetings. As we continue our conversation, getting ready to wrap up the month of May. So, we've been talking a lot about this whole divine doubt and expressing our doubt and what all that means and all the in-betweens. And today we are going to continue this conversation, but we're talking about it from a space of what does it mean for us collectively to be uncertain? Communal uncertainty. So after weeks of exploring divine doubt, how will we apply this work to our communities? So this week we are going to look at how we use our doubts to engage with greater curiosity, wonder, awe, creativity, etc., as we continue to build the various interconnections of love, honoring, respect, oneness within CSL. So as a community, what it means to us individually, what it means to us as individual communities, and what it means to us as a worldwide organization. What doubts and what uncertainties does CSL, New Thought, express, withhold, not address? What is it that we are hiding or avoiding? And what doubts or uncertainties, what mystery might our organization and our centers, our communities address in order to benefit all? Breathe. What do you call this? The thing where you have the little pointy thing and you put it in the little bendy thing and you put it on the string and then you pull it. And then, what is it called? Oh, archery. Right. Okay. So archery and many other things. If you knew, no matter what, that you were going to hit the target bullseye every single time, what would be the point? For like target shooting or like in the Olympics, if there was absolute certainty, what would be the point? Playing tic-tac-toe, I know I'm going to win. Certainty. Then why are you playing? You know you're going to, or chess, or whatever it is. If you know then what's the point? Part of what Tracy enjoys about watching certain sports teams, play football is the level of uncertainty. She enjoys watching the challenge of the game. Now, granted, she wants her team to win. The Giants. See, I got it right, Tracy. She wants them to win. But part of the enjoyment of getting to the win is watching the interaction. If it was guaranteed 100% every single time, she knew my team is going to win. They're going to, it's not even going to be close. What's the point in watching? I already know they're going to win. If I already know how it ends, what's the point? There's no more entertainment in it, technically, if I already... So, as Anthony Hopkins says, certainty is the enemy of mankind. If you are certain about everything, you have the Inquisition, you have the Nazis, and you have that certainty is something to be guarded about. You have the Klan. They were absolutely certain. Christian nationalists, absolutely certain. Those who burned women at the stake for witchcraft were absolutely certain. So, looking at that, do we really want to have absolute certainty about everything? Now, there are certain things we want to be certain about. When you go to the hospital for a checkup or test getting run, we want the doctors to be certain. Yes, so Mr. Anderson, the test came back. You do, in fact, have a 10-pound bunny rabbit growing in your left shoulder. And it's not a regular bunny rabbit. It's the Easter bunny. Hold on, I have to find a new doctor. That's one reason why some people get second or third opinions, because there's a level of, I want to be certain before I do surgery or before I want to be certain. So granted, there are certain things we want to be certain about. But to what degree are we able to discern how certainty or the quest for certainty might actually be holding us back? Synonyms: certainty or certain, sure, definite, confident, fixed, indisputable, and on and on. So when we look at this idea of I believe versus I know, how often do we get these mixed up? For example, if I hold up this highlighter, prayerfully you're able to see the color sort of matches my shirt. Do you believe that it's the color that you are perceiving, or do you know it's the color that you're perceiving? Now we could say, yes, it's green. I can see that it's green. I know that it's green. It's green. I know it. I don't believe it. But is that knowing based upon what we were taught? Yes, but what if we were taught incorrectly? What What if that's not really green? Or what if it's arbitrary? It's just somebody just made it up. So how many things do we know that we are simply taking someone else's word for it versus we know? Just putting it out there. Because it's important for us to be able to discern the difference. Because sometimes our beliefs are the thing that is blocking us from growing, evolving, whatever word we want to use. And sometimes our certainty, our knowing is the thing that's holding us back. And like any, great puzzle, there's a place where these two things mesh, where the I know and I believe, they intermix, they connect. But do we understand how they are connecting and what that looks like in our lives? On being certain, believing you are right even when you're not. Ever been there? Ever believed? Tracy, remember when we went to the movies to go see Mall Cop? I didn't go to the movies to see that with you. Yes, you did. No, I didn't. I know I'm right, but you're not. Believing you are right even when you are not. Do we know situations in history where this, same thing Anthony Hopkins said about certainty in everything and how it hurts mankind, humankind, and Nazis, they believed they were right. To the degree where Hitler even named the final solution as though there was a problem. What? Are there things within us right now where we believe we are right even when we're not? Certainty is the state of being free from doubt, representing absolute conviction, confidence, or a fact established beyond question. There are certain things we don't need to question. If I hold the highlighter and I open my fingers, is it a legitimate question for me to ask, will it go down? Will it go right? Will it go left? Will it go up? Is that a legitimate question? No, because I know gravity is going to make it fall. Of that, I am certain. In this setting, you go to a certain degree outside of the Earth's atmosphere and you open your fingers and it floats. So in that, there may be a question. I'm holding it. Have we reached the altitude yet? It fell. No. Holding it. Have we reached the altitude yet? It fell. No. Holding. Have we reached the altitude? Open. And it floats. Now. So as situations change, a question here that is pointless is valid here. So even here, I am certain. Here, I am not. Still related to the same thing, the highlighter and gravity. It differs from mere belief, acting as an epistemic property where no rational grounds for doubt exists. No grounds for doubt. You are not allowed to doubt. So within that space, because as we've already discussed the last couple of weeks, to doubt is to life-affirming doubt, is to question. We need to keep questioning, though. Someone recently accused me of having an answer for everything. No, I don't. I mean, the smart aleck in me does. But legitimately, no, I don't have an answer for everything, but I have a question for almost everything. I can always ask a question. I don't always have an answer. And it's because I exist in the space of life-affirming doubt. Certainty and belief. While belief is a mental acceptance of a claim, certainty represents a strong, often foundational level of conviction. It is not merely thinking something is true. I don't think gravity is going to make it fall. But I know, based on what gravity is and my understanding of gravity and my experience of gravity, I know I am convicted. The conviction is so strong that I feel it cannot be wrong. Gravity is going to. Do we know the difference between what we believe and what we're certain of? Especially as it applies to this teaching and how it impacts and influences our life and creating a world that works for all. Certainty and doubt. Certainty is the direct opposite of doubt. Doubt asks questions, certainty does not. It requires the elimination of alternatives or inaccuracies. It is often seeking a sure thing. Which do we desire to be within more often? It is easy to say certainty. I want to be certain. I want to be sure. I don't want there to be the possibilities of, I want to know. But knowing would remove, to have absolute certainty of everything in all situations, would remove the enjoyment of watching a series or a movie or reading a book. If I already know the entire story, because I'm certain of it, I already know how it begins, how it's middle, and the end, I already know. Then why am I reading the book? I already know. Why am I watching the movie? I already know. There's a certain level of enjoyment that is no longer there. Now, after having seen it, because of the nostalgia that the Wizard of Oz evokes, or, every time I watch The Matrix, something new stands out. But if that was gone, there would be absolutely no reason to read it again, to watch it again, or to interact with it in the first place, because certainty removes a certain level of types of certainty. Objective certainty, something that is true regardless of what one thinks, such as mathematical truths. Doesn't matter if you think 2 + 2 = Q. Doesn't matter. According to math, there's a certain truth. Subjective certainty or certitude, a personal feeling or mental state of absolute confidence in a belief. Which of these applies more to what we do with New Thought? Is it an objective certainty? Or is it a subjective certainty? And how does that differ as it shows up in our lives? The quest for certainty blocks the search for meaning. Uncertainty is the very condition to impel humans to unfold their powers. Uncertainty is the thing that unlocks versus certainty, which locks and blocks. Now, I know many of us want to be certain about a whole bunch of things. I got you. But recognize it is the very quest for certainty that prevents us from awakening, evolving, enlightening, healing, and transforming. By any chance, do you know what this means? It's a tattoo I have right here. Do you know what it means? See it? Right there. Do you know what it means? Type it in the chat if you know what it means. Does that help? The transliteration. Does that help? It is one of the names of God in the Kabbalistic tradition. It is read from, if you note the arrows, it is read from that end, from right to left. Ayin Resh Yud. And it means absolute certainty in that which God is, without a doubt. Ayin Resh Yud is the 46th combination of the 72 names of God in the Kabbalistic tradition. It represents absolute certainty, or certainty in the life force, light force, power force of God. It is used to foster, to nurture unwavering trust, conviction, and faith that 86 proactive behaviors lead to positive outcomes. How are we embodying a certain level of trust and faith, conviction? And how is that showing up in, even when we may not know? How is that showing up to create life-affirming outcomes for us? Pause for a second. I can say, of everything that the science of mind teaches, I don't know if this is true. I do know and am 100% certain that studying this and learning this and teaching this has had a profound impact that is life-affirming and life-changing in my life, in the way that I think and feel and speak and live. And of that, I have absolute certainty. The Matrix is a work of fiction. It is a story. Are all of the concepts expressed in the Matrix factual? No. Truthful? No. But as a story, they have a truth, yes. And without a doubt, of absolute certainty, I know that that movie has had a profound impact and influence in my life. Comic books, Star Wars, profound impact. Of that, I am absolutely certain. Yoda is not real in terms of, I can't pick up my phone and be like, I'm going to call Yoda because Yoda was supposed to come over and go to the cookout with you, I will. Yoda is a character, a made-up, imagined being. And yet, that being, though fictional and imagined, has had a profound impact in my life, without a doubt. How are we navigating the certainties and the uncertainties, the believing with the knowing, with the seeking, with the finding, with the simply surf? Surf and know that there are times you are going to fall off, but you can surf again. You can swim again. But we must be willing to fall, to question, to doubt. I believe faith is not certainty, but I believe faith is courage, the courage to live with uncertainty. Life-affirming faith is the courage, or the expression of courage, as we move through this uncertain life. When 9/11 happened, everyone went to work wherever, not just New York City. Everyone went to work or school or whatever as they normally would. They had faith that today would be an amazing day in school, at work, wherever. It's a regular day. And then something tragic happened. And then people responded however it is they responded. And yet many people, that was their last day. That was their last day in this incarnation of life, before life, after life. That was the day that they transitioned. They didn't wake up knowing that. They had faith in the uncertainty of life that gave them the courage to go catch the train, get on a plane, take a taxi, walk across the bridge, etc. Faith is the power, the courage to act with trust, even when we don't know. Breathe. Now, there are some who use faith as a weapon. They are quick to tell you that you are a sinner, and not just a sinner, but a wretched one. Are you sure? What are you basing that on? How do you know? What do those words mean? The only way to God is through Jesus, and specifically our version of Jesus, such as a Christian nationalist would say. Are you sure? How do you know? What are you basing that on? What if you're wrong? What if it has nothing to do with that in the first place? What if they are simply using the language and the personage of Jesus as a mascot for a different agenda of control? What if? But what if I can't discern that? And I get caught up in, for example, Tracy and I recently, a couple of weeks ago, watched, I don't even know what it was on. It wasn't Amazon. I don't know. It might have been. I don't know. Whatever it was. We're watching this documentary about, prepare yourself, a cat cult, where this very charismatic woman was preaching and teaching a very interesting brand of theology that eventually reached a point where cats were divine beings that the congregants had to take care of, not just a cat, but people had 30 25, 30 cats in their homes that they had to take care of because the cats would be the ones to save them from the apocalypse. Yes, you heard that right. If I'm unable to discern, then I can easily find myself in a cult, but not knowing how I got there. As Miranda often says, people don't join cults, people join groups. They come together in community, and then later on, I'm in a cult. How did this happen? Because I wasn't questioning. I wasn't asking. I wasn't using life-affirming doubt to synthesize, to discern, to evaluate, I was simply every drink they gave me. What is this? Grape Kool-Aid. What is this? Cherry Kool-Aid. What is this? Coffee Kool-Aid. I don't know what that is, but the prophet said drink it. So when someone says, "Are you sure?" it is a common English phrase used to confirm or verify or to question one's certainty of a statement, of a decision, or of something that we would call a fact. The plane leaves at 9. Are you sure? I need you to confirm. Plane leaves at 9. I need to verify the plane leaves at 9. Simply asking for verification. Because if it leaves at 9 versus we need to get there at 9, I just want to be clear. It signals doubt about accuracy. It asks for a reassurance or encourages someone to reconsider the possible consequences and outcome. It is generally polite, but can come across as being skeptical of someone, depending on the tone. Are you sure? Uncertainty is the only certainty there is. Let's say that again. Uncertainty is the only certainty there is. And knowing how to live with insecurity is the only security. What? Knowing how to navigate in a changeless world. Boop, boop. Knowing how to navigate in a world of change, recognizing change is changeless, is the very thing that gives us the ability. But I like to know. I don't, but I, but, you want to be secure? Learn how to live with insecurity. Learn how to live in the space of, I don't know. To what degree are we able to discern fact from fiction, truth from tall tales, salvation from slavery, and lies from love? This is the path we are on each and every day. And even more so today than ever in the history of humankind, because of the proliferation of fake news, AI deepfakes, misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation. Truth-seeking and truth-telling to the best of our moment by moment abilities. We are being invited into the uncomfortable practice of discernment. Do you know who these individuals are? Now, clearly, they are not photographs of anyone, but do you know who they represent? How do you know? So if you recognize the one and you say, well, that's Jesus, based on what? Especially since the vast majority of historians and many theologians tell you that's not what Jesus looked like. Historically, culturally, that's incorrect. But we have bought into the fake news and the AI deepfake long before there was such a thing as an AI deepfake. Is that what Siddhartha Gautama looked like? But to what degree are you able to tell what is real from what is AI in this realm and space of time that we are in? Because this is almost the same kind of thing. We see a video that we believe is real to such a degree that we now know that the Queen said, or that someone, and now we're outraged, we are angry, but it's not real. It's an AI deep fake. To what degree are we able to discern and recognize a lie from a truth? Real from what is fake? I invite you to come back and read through, or go to the link at the end and read the article, simply to give you the opportunity to be more discerning in your ability to recognize AI fakes versus. Someone can legitimately be misinformed. But there are many people out there who want to malinform. They purposefully want to fool and trick us for whatever their agenda may be. So it is important to be able to navigate. Extremely important. And as the article says, not all deepfakes are nefarious, because a deepfake was used to bring Carrie Fisher back to life for the film Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. However, as the artificial intelligence becomes more sophisticated, it may need to be more regulated. As adjunct professor of Syracuse University, Jason Webb, said, to what degree is our spirituality sophisticated enough to regulate, to discern, to understand what's in a book? Because people write books all the time. You know, The Secret was written, but the manner in which it was written and the way it's presented, it makes the law of attraction out to be something not quite as accurate as it could be. So just because it's written doesn't mean there isn't information in there that we still need to be sophisticated enough to discern. I used to believe the Bible 150,000% as it was written, till I understood years later, went to seminary and then understood how the Bible came about. And then it was like, oh, whoa. Now I got 1,000,001 questions. Is our spirituality sophisticated enough to be able to navigate, discern, etc.? When we see it as it is, then we shall see ourselves as we are. We can only see it by looking at it through our own eyes. Hence, we shall find a better God when we shall have arrived at a higher standard for humankind. For those who call themselves Christian, who are glad about the current administration and the war, and they want to see more Muslims and others, non-Christians, they're happy with them dying. It's because the God of their understanding is a small, petty, and immature being. As we are, we make God in our own image. And when we get to a space of, because our spirituality is sophisticated, we recognize and we understand, whoa, so what is God? God's not an anthropomorphic, okay, there is no, okay, wait. Then what does that mean? And then we begin to embody a completely different understanding and a completely different way of expressing what it is now. Because we have arrived at a quote unquote higher, sophisticated level of awareness and embodiment. But are we doing that? Because there are many people in New Thought who still, to a certain degree, have a concept of a fifth grade God, but they're trying to live as graduate students. You're still believing in a God from your elementary school days. You're changing some of the words, but it's still the same. You're just repackaging it. It's still an apple. It's just you're putting an apple, you're putting, like, you cut an orange and you take the orange out, but you got the skin pretty much intact. You're taking an apple and you're putting it in the orange skin and you're closing it up and you're saying, it's an orange now. No, it's not. It's an apple with orange skin around it. You're taking God and you're putting it in the New Thought. Yeah, it's wrapped in New Thought skin, but it's still an anthropomorphic God. It's still a God of, punishment. Because if it's hitting you with a cosmic 2x4, that's punishment. I see the world not as it is, but I see it as I am. And I am in spiritual union, spiritual unity, spiritual oneness with God. Do you? Do you see the world as it is, or do you see it as you are, as an individualized expression of the divine? And what does that even mean? In practical terms. Breathe. Discernment versus suspicion, just to make sure we are on the same page. Discernment stems from effective critical thinking. Especially for us, it is rooted in spiritual principle and peace, whereas suspicion is rooted in fear, insecurity, and wounds from our past. Are we suspicious of this person, or are we in a state of discernment regarding them? Am I going into a neighborhood where I'm suspicious of the people in the neighborhood? Or am I embodying and expressing a level of discernment as it relates to? And how is this, whatever it is, showing up and impacting my life? Because one is life affirming and one is not. generally speaking. If I am operating based upon fears and insecurities and triggers, traumas, that's what's directing me, versus critical thinking, peace of mind, spiritual principles, healing. Which one is, can I discern do I know when? If I can't tell the difference, then I'm going to be operating based upon whatever my default setting is. That's not sophistication. That's indoctrination. A movie that I had to watch multiple times to truly understand, Jacob's Ladder. But one of my favorite scenes in the film is when the character Danny Aiello is a chiropractor, and he says, Eckhart saw hell too. And he said, the only thing that burns in hell is the part of you that you won't let go as it relates to your life. Your memories, you won't let go. Your attachments, you won't let go. All of that stuff gets burned away. But you're not being punished. What is happening is your soul is being freed. So the way he sees it, if you are frightened of dying and you are holding on, then you are going to see devils trying to rip and tear your life away. But if you have made peace, then you realize that the devils, in fact, are angels, and they are setting you free from the earth. When we are in a non-life affirming or life affirming state of consciousness, it impacts how we live our lives, with fear or peace, in lies or in love, in oneness or separation. To what degree are we discerning the difference in order to embody a more sophisticated way of being? There is nothing more certain and unchanging than uncertainty and change. Once again, simply another way of realizing, being aware of all of life. We are surrounded by uncertainties. So ask yourself, do I know or need to know everything as a certainty in order to live a successful life? In order to create a world that works for all? Do I need absolute certainty in every area of my life? No. And anyone who tells you otherwise, they're lying to you. You can be successful in uncertainty. You can create a world that works for all with uncertainty. And in fact, that is precisely what we are invited to do, if you are willing, because it is a space that requires a different level of courage and bravery and authenticity and audacity. To actively embody and engage the science of mind and spirit 4.0 is to practice the art of critical thinking and discernment. It is a skill we develop where we balance what is known, unknown, may never be known, perceived, believed to be known. I believe it to be known, and what we want or often convince ourselves that we know. It's balancing all of that. This is an invitation to begin practicing metacognition. as we study, integrate, and apply spiritual principles that work for us while being willing to release anything that does not. If it doesn't work for you, don't do it. This is a call for us to be less dogmatic and more pragmatic in how we think about life and how we actually live it. Breathe. This week's affirmation, our declaration, I will say it first. If it resonates with you, I invite you to say it with me the second time. I recognize my doubt as a holy mandate to question, to be proactive, and productive. Together. I recognize my doubt as a holy mandate to question, to be proactive and productive. And so it is. For the Thursday night study group questions or your own personal journal questions, number 1. What do I currently claim to be certain of? Number 2. What thoughts and feelings do I have regarding so many uncertainties in life? Number 3. What questions do I not ask because believing something to be certain offers me more comfort? Number 4. What are some things I have approached dogmatically over the years, and how am I now being invited to be more pragmatic? Number 5. When do I tend to be more suspicious rather than discerning, and vice versa? And lastly, number 6, when have I felt the quote from Jacob's ladder as a visceral experience in my life? And as you are out and about in the world to continue the practice, tell a story to someone about a time when you just knew with absolute certainty, whatever it was, that later turned out to be incorrect. What did you feel? What did you think? And how did that experience impact your life going forward? Breathe. As we enter into the space of prayer, the space of the infinite unknown, where we anchor and ground in spiritual principles, speaking from a place of, this is what I know, even though we may not know, we know. So when I say in this moment, I know that love is all there is, even if I do not know, capital K-N-O-W, K-N-O-W, lowercase, my experiential living has a sense, a knowing. And it is from that consciousness that I speak. I don't have to have absolute knowing. My relative knowing is enough to motivate and move and inspire me to live in such a way that I am a harbinger of peace, of love, compassion, and joy. That I am an ambassador of the divine, sacredness, and healing. that I am the emissary of a world that works for all. My relative knowing is enough to propel me into that energy of higher level beings, more sophisticated spirituality, where divine doubt is a sacred mandate, where I question, where I am more proactive rather than reactive. I am productive even when I must be destructive to be productive. And I am far more pragmatic in how I live, move, and have my beingness as a divine expression of oneness. So I see the world not as it is, based upon the collective consciousness. I see it as I am, as I choose to be, as a divine expression of God. I see the world as that. The same way a physician sees, I as a metaphysician see. A physician sees a wounded person come into the ER and they automatically jump into, how do I help? How do I cure? How do I restore this patient to a state of health and wholeness? They don't see the patient as they are. They see them as they could be, whole, perfect, and complete. And then they move into action in order to bring that about. And just as they do it on a physical level, sometimes a psychological level, I choose to do it emotionally and spiritually, metaphysically. I see the world as I am, as an expression of the divine. And I know that what I do, what I practice, the I is also the I am that we all are. So I breathe, recognizing that this divine doubt, this ability to have communal certainty, uncertainty, questioning, pragmatism, and so much more is moving through the ethers right now. Moving through our minds, our bodies, our spirits, moving through our relationships and our finances, moving through everything that we are and everything that we do. And that we have great faith, great courage to do what we must do, to be whole expressions of the divine, perfect expressions of the divine, complete expressions of the divine, because we are already whole, perfect, and complete. Now, how do we express it? How do we practice it? How do we demonstrate it? And how do we bring that awareness, that healing, that transformation to the world? How do we create a world that works for all? It begins right here, right now. This message, this affirmation and declaration, this closing prayer, this conversation, this word, and this breath. The law receives, it acts accordingly. The amen is already in motion. Amen is far more than what we say. Amen is the manner in which we live. Prayer is how we breathe and speak and relate and live. Breathe. And so it is. And so it is. Love and appreciation, many blessings. See you sometime during the week or right back here. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Today's message is complete, something to believe, a seed of truth that we can practice if we choose to receive. As we take the science of mind and spirit pour it over to every corner of the world where the healing needs to go. We know it's not a secret, can't block behind a door. It's the wisdom that we're living, and love is what we share it for. Now step into the world, be a healing, hopeful beacon. You're walking the path and offering to all who may be seeking. Know it, practice it, live it every day. That's how we heal the consciousness. We wash the ignorance away. Time to heal the world and make the vision come true. No more waiting for someone else to do what we can do. With gratitude, love, and a joy so deep. We have principles, practices, and promises we're all going to keep. Take the teaching out into the busy street, to every stranger and every soul you meet. Dedication to liberation is the key we hold. A story of freedom that's waiting to be told. Right where you are is holy ground. Feel into your rhythm and the sacred sound. You're an incarnation of the divine. You're holy, powerful, and good. And you are called to be that in the world and do what only you could. Know it, practice it, live it every day. That's how we heal the consciousness. We wash the ignorance away. Time to heal the world and make the vision come true. No more waiting for someone else to do what we can do. With gratitude, love, and a joy so deep. We have principles, practices, and promises we're all gonna keep. Be the change that you want to see. Unlock the chains and set all life free. From the heart of the city to the jungles and open plains, breaking the cycles of oppression and its heavy chains. It's a revolution of the body, the mind, and the soul. Mending, making, and manifesting the broken parts now finally whole. Know it, practice it, live it every day. That's how we heal the consciousness. We wash the ignorance away. Time to heal the world and make the vision come true. No more waiting for someone else to do what we can do. With gratitude, love, and a joy so deep. We have principles, practices, and promises we're all gonna keep. Right where you are sacred. Right where you are, shining so bright. Right where you are, the divine is expressing. Right where you are, life. So live it every day. Make the vision now come sing. In divine is not far off watching. It is incarnating itself as you. Have an amazing week and know that you are loved.